I feel excited but tranquil. It's like going around the dark side of the moon, about to come through, and every time somebody gets hands-on with the game, right, they're like, oh, I read the forums and they're like, there's no way this game can live up to the hype. There's no way. And then somebody plays and they come in, they're like, it was awesome. I did this and that and this. And then there's like, bullshit. There's no way. There's no way. And then another guy gets to play it and he digs it, right? And it's like, you know, I was a little worried about the learning curve at first, but we did a lot of usability with the game. We put a lot of work into making sure that the cover system worked extremely smoothly. And then once people get hands-on, once they try it, it's like anything worth doing. And, you know, there's a little bit of a learning curve. It's like Halo had a learning curve, riding a bike has a learning curve, driving a car, life has a learning curve, and Gears has a bit of one. Once you figure out how to play, it's just second nature. Well, what we're doing today is the Backstage Pass event, where a number of gamers on Xbox Live were able to kind of win a contest and come hang out with us and play the game in our actual studios here in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's a cool crowd of guys, man. They're like really nice and real hardcore gamers, you know, real hard to please, and they're all just, you hear them hooting and hollering there every 5 seconds as they're beating on each other, stepping on each other's heads, chainsawing each other in half, right? So I think coming out of this, they're all gonna dig it, they're gonna post on forums, and I think the hype machine is going to continue to explode. I never think, every time I think it can't get bigger, it gets bigger, right? I mean, Microsoft threw this Hollywood Forever event in LA the other night that we were out at, and you know, you got like Lindsay Lohan and Kate Bosworth just like rolling up, like, what? Video games. I'm like, all right, cool. Wow, it's K-Fed. I mean, I don't think enough developers are making enough new IP. I think that this medium is the perfect medium to launch an original IP, which of course stands for intellectual property, because you have mental cycles. You have a person playing the game for dozens, hundreds, sometimes thousands of hours. They're looking at the characters, the environments, the universe. They're hearing the music, the dialogue, everything. That is worth money. There are people who, if they can get you to look at a banner ad for a nanosecond, count that as an impression, right? I mean, what are we doing as people are playing? They're living and breathing these universes. So we as developers, I mean, we need to stop licensing 70s movies that half of the audience out there buying the game doesn't even know what it is, and focus on making compelling original content, and not only making it, but also committing to it, getting a publisher such as a partner like Microsoft, who has been supporting this game tenfold, to stand behind it, market it, make the game great, get great reviews, and just sell a new IP and a new universe to the world out there. I think as big as first-person shooters are, and it's such a huge genre, and it's very immersive, I think a lot of players, especially casual ones, pick up the game and they go, where's my dude? I want to see my dude, right? Where's my dude going? What's he doing, right? And so we give you that. You know, you see Marcus, and when you play co-op, you're playing as Dominic Santiago. When you're playing the Versus, you can play as the Elite Theron Guard, or you can play as the Locust, or any of these characters that are in the single-player game, right? Seeing your guy is especially important, I think, in next generation, because when you target with Marcus, I mean, you can tell that there's a scar on his ear, and you're wondering like how we got that scar. Why is this guy so beaten up? What's his history? What's it all about, right? First person is great, it's immersive, but ultimately you're looking down this barrel of a gun, just going. And for me, next generation isn't just about great controls or physics or AI. It's also about how you can show off those next generation graphics. And so going with a third person view is a conscious choice to not only make the player feel like he's controlling this Marcus Phoenix character and he's almost the cameraman in a battlefield, but of course to show off the graphical power of the 360 and what the Unreal Engine 3 can do. Well, I'm not really the engine spokesperson per se, that's Mark. And Mark is one who's one to speak his mind and comes out and says what he's thinking about the industry and technology and our technology in general. I mean, from my end, what Gears shows off is not only a graphical powerhouse, but a pipeline powerhouse as far as making a next-generation AAA product with a team that is smaller and more manageable than any had thought in this generation. And through intelligent management of our own resources on our side, as well as better tools, we've been able to pull that off. And I think that's what a lot of developers are finally starting to realize, and are starting to license our technology from us, that you can make a AAA game for a reasonable budget and, of course, ship it at a targeted date, as we are with Gears of War. Well, I mean, ultimately you're still playing a video game, and some designers kind of get it in their head like, I don't want any HUD ever, and it just takes me out of the game. And I'm like, look, I hate to use the car analogy because I use it often, but it's like when I'm driving my car, I need to know how fast I'm going. Like, I should be able to feel that I'm going 90 miles an hour. No, I need to know on the dot if the speed limit's 55, then I can push it to 65, because there's certain systems that you play to. If I need to know every last bullet that I'm going to have when I'm fighting against these enemies from the underground of the planet, you're going to need to see that information, right? And we can be a little bit more vague with certain elements, such as the health or in the game, right? You know, we have the Crimson Omen appears in the center of the screen. You just kind of say, hey, you're hurt, right? We don't say you have 2 hit points left, right? It's okay to be vague with that. But what we did is we actually tied the health reader in the game into the branding, the logo of the Crimson Omen in the game, right? Which is a win-win for everybody involved. So it's okay to have a little bit of a HUD, right? I mean, when you get to the point where, you know, you're coming up with convoluted excuses for things in the world in order to not have a certain HUD element, I think people, and designers in particular, are kind of overthinking things and want to completely reinvent the wheel, and they don't always have to. I want people to have fun, first and foremost. I want them to see what Next Generation is and what a Next Generation experience is, not just with graphics, but also with Next Generation camera, with Next Generation use of a controller and context sensitivity, as well as extremely well-written characters that are well-acted. Next Generation, for me, Gears isn't just Next Generation graphics, it's Next Generation everything across the board. Jump-in co-op, great slick versus multiplayer that has great twists on the traditional formula, right? That kind of thing. I mean, that's what Next Generation's all about to me, not just one thing.
I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very